here's the thing also. If you're having a day where it's not going to happen today, in that chest voice, do not approach it from the chest voice. There's no need to. You can still be effective in your head voice. You can use a mix, or you can just sing it like literally just in your head voice. All right, we are doing a little test run, and Sister Angie's going to be singing, and I'm going to be accompanying. All right. And you ready?
What's it all about? Alfie, is it just for the moment we leave? What's it all about? When you sort it out, Alfie, are we bound to take more than we give? Or are we meant to be kind? Only fools are kind. Alfie, then I guess it is wise to be cruel. And if life belongs only to the strong, Alfie, what will you lend on an old golden rule? As sure as I believe there's a heaven above, Alfie, I know there's something much more, something even believers can't believe in. I believe in love, Alfie. Without true love, you just exist, Alfie. Where till you find the love you miss, you're nothing, Alfie. Oh my God, that's so high.
It's okay.
Alfie.
Keep going. When?
When you walk,
Let you-
let your heart lead and you'll find love any
Okay, so here's what I would suggest. There are certain parts of the song that are going to be rubato. Don't freak out. That's good. There are certain parts of the song that...
Vibrato's fine. It's just high.
Huh?
It's high. Vibrato's fine. It's just a high. It's high.
You actually were singing a little higher than that when you were singing the Etta James song.
Are you serious? Then what?
It's nerves. That's what your voice does sometimes. But that's also why the technique is really
Wait,
so
really?
important.
Wait, what's that?
So you were in a lower key in the Etta James song
Maybe
by
you
just a
felt
half
more
step,
comfortable with it?
but you were singing notes that were higher than that. Mm-hmm. So,
It feels,
you know,
it feels so much higher.
your technique is a part of how you sustain yourself through songs that are challenging like that, and so that's why it's so important. That's why we spend so much time on support and sort of the shapes of your sound and the way you project.
Yeah, I think I just noticed. I think I wasn't focusing on shapes. I kept everything like.
Yeah, and it's also the reason why you want to really get the lyrics under your belt so that you can be free to now focus on those things and how you interpret the song and then how you feel physically, like as you sing it. You know, you don't want to be doing all of those things and trying to remember the lyrics. Right. So that's where that's going to come in. But I want to say about the song, there's a couple of things that we can definitely work on with that song. Uh-huh. I think this is a harder one than the Etta James song. The Etta James song is just a very sort of laissez-faire kind of approach to singing it. But this song requires a lot more from your chops, which is good because it's a challenge, right? And it is a hard song, but it is something that you can do. Now, one of the things that I think you should do is to speed it up a little bit more in certain places. So, for example, your beginning is rubato, right? Which means very free of time, just sort of like fluid. There's not a whole lot of central, timekeeping.
Like that first whole.
Yeah, the whole part. So like, what's it all about, Alfie? Is it just for the moment we live? What's it all about? All that's really, really free, right? But then when you get to the end of that section of when you started out, when you get to the middle of the song, as sure as I believe there's a heaven above, Alfie. I know, like every time you hear this song, particularly when you hear the greats sing it, that's when the singing begins. Like, so all the other stuff, like, what's it all about? Excuse me. It's very conversational, right? So it's just like you're singing it, but it's almost like a conversation because this comes from a movie and there was a whole dialogue and there's a whole thing. So it's like, what's it all about, Alfie? All that's conversational. Is it just for the moment we live? And you can take your time on that. Like, so some of those things you can stretch out. So is it just for the moment we live? What's it all about? Right, all that, you can like really beautify that. You can just go and just take your time. But when you get to the as sure as I believe there's a heaven above, like all of that is in time, sing no rubato, right? So when we get to that part, for example, that is when your real singing has to come into view.
Is that the key that we were doing? Wait, you were just playing this.
And as well, your performance of it is going to have to like really, really step up. So in the beginning, you could say, "What's it all about?" It's very contemplative. It's very sort of like I'm having a conversation with the person like there. It's very intimate. But when you get to that part, now the performer steps in. And sure, now I want you to hear or imagine yourself performing it on stage. As sure as I believe there's a heaven above, Alfie. I know, like all of that, like that's what you want to start bringing into it. Because this piece is really good for that vocally, but it's also really good for that theatrically. So you're going to want to bring in the character of the song. And that's going to be with time. So with tempo, as sure as I believe there's a heaven above, Alfie. I know there's something much more, something even unbelievers can. Now you're slowing down. Something even unbelievers, slowing down, can believe in. Hold it, and I believe in love. Listen, it's the support. We keep talking about this. So listen, here's the thing also. If you're having a day where it's not going to happen today, in that chest voice, do not approach it from the chest voice. There's no need to. You can still be effective in your head voice. You can use a mix.
Or the mix.
Or you can just sing it like literally just in your head voice. So like, and especially as I told you last week, this is not my key, right? So I'm able to do it, right? So without true love, it just exists. Alfie, until you find the love you miss. You're Alfie. And then when you walk, switch your voice. So listen, when you walk, so it's different characters, right? Intimate again. You're going from intimate to broad to in tempo to heights, and then back down to when you walk, let your heart. So you're going through all of those different emotions. You want to start? Where do you want to start? And we got to go in just a second, but where do you want to start real quick?
To practice that?
Yeah, like, did you want to pick it up from one of those parts, or you want to just save it for next week?
We can try like that last part again.
So,
Or what's the part that you said, like where it starts to pick up?
that part. As sure as I believe there's a heaven above. Okay, so I'll play into it a little bit from the, right here, you ready?
Wait, it starts with I believe in love. I believe in love.
No, well, I mean, if you want to start there, you want to start, I believe in love.
Wait, where are we starting?
You tell me.
Oh, as sure as I believe.
If that's where you want to start. As sure.
As sure as I believe, there's a heaven above Alfie.
Sorry.
I know there's something much more. What is that now? Something much. Something.
Sorry, that was my fault. I wasn't playing that. I know there's something much more. Something even.
Even non-believers can believe in. And then I believe in love, Alfie. Without your love, we just exist, Alfie. Until you find that love exists, you're nothing, Alfie. Oh my
Keep going, keep going.
Alfie.
Next part. Good. And next part. Next part. When? Come on, move it. Move it, move it. Keep your breath and.
Every day. And then it's
I'm going to suggest something for an arrangement. And this is coming from one of the Barbra Streisand arrangements. It's a really nice way of kind of subtly dressing down the song from all of this stuff back into this singularity. So, for example, when you walk, let your heart lead the way, and you'll find love any day. Alfie,
Could I do something like that?
So I'm suggesting that as something. Think about it. I'm going to record. This is recording. I'm going to send it to you. But I think something like that is good, because after all of this stuff, you can have a little time to kind of like dress up the ending and then end it very nice and sweetly.
Can I try that really quick? Just that very last part.
When you walk.
Yeah.
So.
When you walk, let your heart lead away, and you'll find love any day.
Alfie.
Alfie.
We can work on that. We can work that. We can work on it, but something like that is good.
Okay.
But the idea is also that, particularly for your last note, breathe up, right? So don't do something that you're not gonna have enough breath to really carry out, right? So, this is how I would do it. I would say, Alfie, Alfie, and then I take a breath. I'm always going to have enough to make that last statement, right?
Okay.
So something along those lines, something between what I'm suggesting and what you may feel like you want to do, I think that we can come up with a good ending. Okay, so we'll stop for today.